Morning, everyone. The light is pretty strong today in this video, so it's a little weird, but I'll try to adjust and move as the sun moves. But you can see me. We're going to start today with a story from Mark's Gospel about a blind man named Bartimaeus. As I read through it, I want you to imagine yourself as one of the characters in the story. So Bartimaeus himself, or Jesus, or the people in the crowd. And I want you to imagine the story from the perspective of whichever of those characters you choose and try to see it through their eyes and think about what they might have been thinking at the time. So this is Mark chapter 10, verses 46 and 50. Jesus and his followers came into Jericho. As Jesus was leaving Jericho, together with his disciples and a sizable crowd, a blind beggar named Bartimaeus, Timaeus' son, was sitting beside the road. When he heard that Jesus of Nazareth was there, he began to shout, "Jesus, son of David, show me mercy." Many scolded him, telling him to be quiet, but he shouted even louder, "Son of David, show me mercy." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him forward." They called the blind man. "Be encouraged, get up, he's calling you." Throwing his coat to the side, he jumped up and came to Jesus. Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man said, "Teacher, I want to see." Jesus said, "Go, your faith has healed you." At once he was able to see, and he began to follow Jesus. So in the role of your chosen character in the story, what did you see? And what did you feel, especially when Bartimaeus was called out? So if you were him, how do you think you would have felt when he was called out? And when he was told to be quiet, he's obviously probably feeling rather desperate, and he was feeling really in need. He needed some help. And when he told to be quiet, that must have been very frustrating. But then when Jesus came to help him, the crowd changed their minds. They said, "Oh, wait, he's going to help him after all." And when Bartimaeus had his eyesight restored, he must have been filled with awe that to be able to see again, and that this miracle had happened. He had gained his eyesight back. And he probably was also filled with reverence for the one who had did this for him. So he started following Jesus. Now, through Mark's gospel, there are stories of Jesus healing many people, like the blind man. There's a man with skin disease, someone who was born both deaf and mute, a girl with evil spirit, and Jesus heals all these people. Now, people like these, society considered unclean, and they were excluded and from society and shunned. So think about in our society today, who might these excluded people be that society tends not to respect and pushes them to the edge? So maybe those with mental illness or people with certain diseases, for a while, people with AIDS, but I don't think people are shunned quite as much as they used to for that. I hope not. Ex-prisoners, for sure. People who don't have much money sometimes. And really any minority group is often shunned from society. So think about what these people, all of these groups I just mentioned, what these people might cry out for. And probably to be treated with respect and just to be treated fairly. And how do you think Jesus would respond? He would probably help them. And how do we respond? We often don't see these people. We block them out of our vision because we don't want to see people who are poor, because that's a sad thing. So we have a way of just blocking them out of our sight. But that's not how Jesus would respond, right? He would actively help them. So prayer is a kind of crying out, right? It's asking. Part of prayer can be asking for help from God. It's also about saying what we're thankful for, right? Now, there was a 7-year-old girl, one time who wrote a letter to her minister because she wasn't sure what to pray about. And she asked him, "What shall I pray for before I go to bed?" And I'm going to read you the letter that he wrote to Nancy in response, the 7-year-old girl. "Dear Nancy, you may not have realized it, but when you asked me to suggest a bedtime prayer for you, you raised a very important question. It is a question which people have wondered about and argued about for thousands of years. It is a question which many people think they can answer. They answer in many different ways. Some believe God can give them presents or make it rain or cure their troubles if they ask God in the right way. Some people believe asking God to help is a way of feeling closer to God, no matter what happens in response. Some people believe God will do what is best for everybody, and that to ask God for special favors is selfishness. Some people believe God is the force of nature, so we cannot pray to God any more than we can pray to a tree or stone. And some people believe we ought to think only about the people and not about God at all. And as you learn more about the world, you will have to decide what you think about all this. Your parents' help and the help of others, you will form your own beliefs. But you have asked me a question which can't wait until you have learned more and thought more. You want me to suggest a bedtime prayer. I think I can help if, for the time at least, you think of prayer not as asking God for favors, but as an honest expression of some of your feelings. So this would be calling out, just like Bartimaeus did in the Gospel of Mark, right? He was calling out because he was expressing how he felt. So let me read that sentence again. If I think I can help if for the time being you think of prayer not as asking God for favors, but as honest expression of some of your feelings. I especially mean 3 kinds of feelings. Sometimes you feel thankful for nice things which have happened to you. If you express your thanks at bedtime, you may enjoy those things all over again. Sometimes you feel sorry for things you have done or said. If you express your feelings, being sorry before you sleep, you may feel much better. Sometimes, and also expressing that sorrow and those regrets can help you sort of realize, like, well, think about what you might do next time so that you aren't sorry about something. And sometimes you have hopes for yourself and for other people. So this is what Bartimaeus did. He was expressing his hopes, right? Of being able to see again. If you express your hopes in prayer, you may see what you can do to make them come true. Like here, I am suggesting that each night you make up your own prayer. It could begin, "Tonight I am thankful for," and then you could think of the most important things that you're thankful for. It could continue, "Tonight I am sorry for," and then you could think of the most important things you're sorry about. Your prayer could then end with, "Tomorrow I hope," and you could think of some of the most important things you hope for and think of how you can help to bring them about. When you do this, if you want to pray by talking to God, go right ahead. What matters most is that you really mean what you say. Say that again. What matters most is that you mean what you say. If you think you will discover that you pray like this, I think you will discover if you pray like this at night, it may not change God or change things or change other people, but it will change you and change how you think and feel about God and things and other people. And maybe you can make things happen and things will come about as you hope. How you work out your thinking and feeling about all this is an important part of how you live your life. But don't let that scare you. Understanding your feelings of gratitude and regret and hope is a wonderful process. Thank you for asking. Your minister, Christopher Rabel. So if you don't envision what it is you want, and if you don't express your hopes and call out what those hopes are, you might not see the solution, or you may not see the answer right there, what it is you hope for, even if it's right there in front of you, or at least the path to what you hope for. Because often what we want, or more specifically, the sort of the path to what we want, the road we must take to achieve something, it's often right there in front of us, but we just don't see it. Or maybe we don't want to see it because it involves a lot of work and effort to get there and to reach those things. And to obtain what we hope for. But by calling out for what we want, whether it's to be able to see again, like Bartimaeus, or something you're hoping for yourself, or to be able to help a loved one in need, or to be able to make great change in our society for the greater good, like with social justice or improving our care for the environment, whatever it is you hope for and you're calling out for, you have to be able to say, this is important. This is what I will seek and work for as I continue to grow in order to make things happen, and for God and for your own inner self to hear that call. So that is all for today. Get out and enjoy this sunshine that's been messing up with the video. Beautiful October day today. And be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and I will see you next week.